I have the privilege of sitting here today with Sally Fallon Morell. Sally, I want to thank you so much for giving us your time and being willing to have some conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
My gateway to my journey and my health journey came from this book. And so that's why this interview is so exciting to me. But I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you write this book.
Yeah. I feel like I was kind of pushed into writing the book, but I grew up in a family that was very interested in food. My mother was a wonderful cook. They traveled a lot, and she'd come home and make the things they'd eaten. So we grew up eating things like cassoulet and prosciutto and stuff. And cooking in French style and lots of butter and cream and eggs. And so that's the way I cooked. Very rich diet. So my first child was born in 1973, and that's just about the time, and she was very healthy, but it's just about the time this low fat message was kind of slunking in and getting to moms, and maybe we shouldn't be giving butter to our babies and whole milk. And I just knew that this was wrong. I knew that my kids would be cranky if I didn't give them plenty of fat. I'm cranky when I don't get plenty of butter. So then I happened to stumble on Dr. Price's book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, where he talked about how these primitive people ate, and they always wanted the fat and they wanted the nutrient dense parts, and just showed me that I was on the right track. Three more children, healthy, cheerful children on high fat diet. And many years later, I found myself with everyone in school and I had more time. And I got this idea to write a book that put Dr. Price's findings into more accessible form for people, for families, for moms. And this idea kind of took hold of me like a little dog. It just wouldn't let go. So I started, and I'd never written a book before, and really didn't know what I was doing. I had to learn a desktop publishing program, and a lot of eye rolling, a lot of moms writing a book. But I just pressed on, learned a lot while I was doing it. The whole thing was, how do you make our meals nutrient dense, digestible? There's a lot about digestion in my book, and delicious. I always say the number one requirement of a healthy diet is your kids will actually eat it, or because if they won't eat it, they're going to go out and eat junk food. Those were the kind of parameters that guided me, and it came out in '96. Again, I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know about marketing or anything. Second edition, as soon as it came out, I knew it needed changes. So the current edition came out in 1999. And it just kind of took off. It was all word of mouth, and I did a lot of radio interviews, and we didn't have podcasts in those days. And it just kind of took off, and then it took off on Amazon, and then a distributor. I was sending boxes to Amazon from my garage. And then a distributor noticed it and took it up, and the rest is history. Yeah, we're up to 800,000 copies.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm so glad that you did because, so first of all, I do believe I was pretty much brought up this way. However, and I'm not, no judgment here, but my mom fed us the good food, but she didn't teach us the why behind it. So it didn't sink into our soul. And it wasn't something that I transitioned into because I kind of went along with the boxed dinners. And I
Yes.
thought, because nobody told me, I thought that as long as I was cooking in my kitchen, that we were eating healthy.
Yeah, yeah.
And stovetop stuffing, I hate to admit that, but stovetop stuffing was my best friend, and so was Hamburger Helper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, seriously. So then
Yeah.
wonder why I became sick and had some illnesses, which is really where it all started for me in why I became a nutritional wellness coach. But fortunately for me, I had a neighbor who had learned about your book because she had adopted a baby.
Hmm.
who was from a mom who had been on drugs. She learned about your formula, and that's what she fed her baby, and her baby thrived and
Yes.
overcame a lot of those issues.
I have seen exactly the same thing. Drug babies, really scrawny, low birth weight, just blossom with that formula.
It's very exciting, and
Mhm.
there's so much that I want to talk about, but since we're there, can we
Mhm.
talk about the reasons and the benefits of breastfeeding for moms? Because I'm noticing a trend. A lot of moms feel like breastfeeding is icky.
Yeah, I found that too. They're embarrassed to
Yes,
feed. Yes.
but for me, knowledge is power. And so would you educate us a little bit on the reasons why that's not just so amazing for the baby, but it's also amazing for the mom?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, all the hormones that flood the body when you're breastfeeding are very good for mom. And moms often fight depression when they have a baby. I think a lot of reasons is because they're not breastfeeding. They're not getting those oxytocin, feel good hormones that the body produces for you. I'll tell you one thing about breastfeeding. Babies don't make cholesterol. They're immature digestive system, and they need a lot of cholesterol for growth, for building a healthy gut, for their brain. The brain is it's very important for the brain, and also to make hormones. Babies make hormones, and you make hormones out of cholesterol, especially baby boys. Baby boys make as much testosterone as an adult male when they're babies, up to 6 months of age, and that programs them to express male characteristics at puberty. So, mother's milk is very rich in cholesterol, providing the baby with the cholesterol that he can't make, and contains special enzymes to ensure that 100% of that cholesterol is absorbed. Now, if you don't breastfeed and you put the baby on formula, guess what? There's no cholesterol in formula. It's made with skim milk and vegetable oils. So, in that first 6 months of life, the baby, especially your baby boy, is going to be deprived of the cholesterol he needs. And both sexes are going to be deprived of the cholesterol they need to build healthy brains and be smart. Now, our formula, which my co-author Mary Ennigan and I debated, should we put this formula in the book because it's very controversial because it's made with raw milk, but it's got cholesterol in it and the enzymes so the baby can absorb that cholesterol, plus a lot of other good things. But we have had such wonderful feedback on that formula.
Well,
It's been life saving for a lot of babies.
the
Yeah.
testimonies speak for themselves, don't they?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
I wish to goodness I had this book before I had children. I didn't get introduced to this book until my youngest was about 4.
Hmm.
Better late than never.
Yes,
But
yes.
my goodness, I wish so much that I would have. And I'll just tell you so people can hear, I was living around people that thought that breastfeeding was icky. I
Hmm.
was young when I had my first child. I mean, aren't most of us young, but my first child was born when I was 22.
Hmm.
And I just kind of caved and I breastfed very short period of time, switched to formula, and he had the throwing up, and I couldn't figure out why, I did not know. And so fast forward to my third child, she was breast milk until she was like, I'm done with you. Literally, she was
Yeah.
like,
She,
I'm ready
she
to go.
told you when to stop. Yes, yes.
Yes. And I wish that all of my children would have had the same.
Mhm.
She has been my healthiest child. She
Yeah.
is the one that didn't need braces. She is the
Yeah.
one who did not get strep throat when it was going around. And
Mhm.
so hopefully this video can save someone else. And, all my children are healthy, but there's degrees, right?
Mhm.
There are degrees. So I just want people to get this information. And first of all, breastfeeding is convenient. Somehow
Yeah,
we made it inconvenient.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you have to be there with the baby. Yeah,
But that's why we have them, right? So we can be
yeah,
there with
right.
them.
Yeah. And when people say that to me, it's so inconvenient. I said, I tell you, sweetheart, babies are inconvenient.
Yeah,
Children are
that's
inconvenient.
right. They're there to teach us how to not be selfish, I think.
Yes, right.
So speaking of cholesterol, are you okay if we go there?
Yes, uh-huh.
Because cholesterol is such a big topic and everyone has high cholesterol these days, and we both know that they're looking at the wrong things.
Well, I don't think we should even measure cholesterol. It's a non-issue. It doesn't tell you whether you're prone to heart disease, and it gives the doctors the excuse to put you on cholesterol-lowering medications, which don't do any good and have horrible side effects. In fact, one of the side effects they've just found out is that it causes calcification of the arteries, the very thing that you want to avoid.
So scary.
And I'm kind of heartbroken. I have a friend who has a ulcer on his foot and it's not healing. And you know what the next step is? They cut your foot off. And I emailed him and I said, I have to ask you, are you on cholesterol medication? Because one of the side effects is poor wound healing. Well, I haven't heard back from him. People are kind of offended that you would question their doctor. This is being done to our elders, to our men, to our husbands. They are being put on these horrible drugs that cause infertility, erectile dysfunction, anger, suicidal thoughts, pain from muscle weakness, Parkinson's. I mean, there really is nothing worse than these statin drugs. And
Yes,
they're completely useless.
I agree.
But to get off them, and you can, by the way, you can go off a statin cold turkey. It's the blood pressure drugs that you have to go off slowly, or you might get a stroke. So blood pressure drugs are worse in that respect. But the statins you can go off immediately. They have no purpose. And the only reason the doctors are prescribing them is because they get a bonus based on how many prescriptions they write. It's all money.
It's hooking them up to the
Yeah.
system.
And so to get off, though, you have to change the way you think. You have to start questioning. And it's very, very hard for so many people.
Especially when they have been trained to only listen to their doctors and
Yes,
not own their own health.
yes.
And it, to them, because I've been there, to them, it's scary,
Yeah, it's very frightening. Yes,
but it's amazing to me how our bodies are so intuitive that if you learn how to listen, it will tell you what you need.
yes, yes.
I am curious, so I have just tried different diets for fun, not
Hmm.
for a certain reason or because I believed in them.
Hmm.
But for a week, I did, I'm going to say vegetarian because vegan, in my opinion, has a different component behind it with
Hmm.
them being against killing of animals and things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So I did the vegetarian diet for a week, and by the end, my body was screaming for a hamburger. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I felt so tapped out. I felt so drained, and I knew what it was that I needed. And that's exactly what I got. I got a burger, and I felt better because I had that drop in iron, and I
Yes,
needed
and zinc. You need the beef. Beef is a wonderful source of zinc, and zinc is important for thinking. It's important for fertility, and it's. I know people who have to eat red meat every day, or they actually go crazy because they need that zinc so badly.
over and over again. When clients come to me, they will say, I know you're going to make me give up my butter. And I'm like, guess what? No, I'm not. So
Yeah.
I want you to talk to us because so many of the people, obviously, they keep coming to me scared to death of butter and they feel like that is going to be what's going to give them a heart attack. So explain this misconception.
Okay. Well, it's interesting that you should bring that up because we're talking about what are fundamental things that people can do. And the two fundamental things I always say is one, eat butter, no seed oils, and number two, make your own salad dressing. Those are two absolute fundamentals, two things to start with. So, why butter? Butter is the food in nature, it's the fat in nature for the growth and development of all mammals. There can't be anything wrong with it. And as butter consumption has declined in this country, heart disease has gone up. And we don't know all the reasons why heart disease has gone up, but it's obvious it's not butter. You know, in 1900, we ate about 20 pounds of butter per person per year, and now it's about 4. And is our health any better? No, it's much, much worse. And there's so many things in butter that you can't get in any other fat. One of them is called arachidonic acid. I know it's not a household word, but it's the type of fat that your body uses to make marijuana, literally to make cannabinoids in your body. And your body has receptors for these, not only in the brain, but all over your body. On every organ, you have cannabinoid receptors. So these organs can work properly and give you a sense of peace and well being. And if you're not eating animal fats, especially butter, with that arachidonic acid in it, you're going to feel miserable. You're not going to feel normal, and you're going to be very attracted to drugs like marijuana. And I always say we must be very sympathetic to people who get addicted. They're only trying to feel normal. And these drugs help them feel normal. Even if they're addictive, even if they have side effects, it's more important for the brain to have that feeling of normalcy. I say that, our natural state is to be high all the time, to be excited and optimistic and motivated and relaxed, all of these things at the same time. That's what butter will do for you. Lots of butter. I put butter on everything. People are always shocked at how much butter I eat.
We do too in my family, and we actually will slice it and just eat it. And I know some people think that is so weird, but we love it. We love it. And I was brought up on butter. My kids were brought up on butter, and
Yeah.
we eat it every day. And we keep ours on the counter, and people come in and they'll be like, why is that not in the refrigerator? Well, first of all, we go through it so fast.
That's the same with me.
It's not,
Yeah.
nothing going to be wrong with that, but it's preserved quite well. We've never had a problem. But
Now, if you can get grass-fed butter, that's even better. Don't make an obsession of this. You always choose butter, even if you can't get the best. But grass-fed butter is available now, and most stores have Kerrygold butter, and there's some stores here who have New Zealand butter. So use the best quality, but make sure it's butter. And then the other thing, which I mentioned, is to make your own salad dressing, because go ahead and read the ingredients in bottled dressing. It's horrendous. Lots of MSG, which is really bad for you. So easy to make salad dressing. Takes a minute. Use the finest ingredients. Doesn't cost any more. Make your salad dressing with olive oil and vinegar and mustard, and so easy.
I am so glad that you brought that up because when clients come to me, and again, it's like this is kind of a theme.
Mhm.
They all have a lot in common many times. But I will say, what dressing are you using? Ranch. And what is ranch? What do the majority of ranch salad dressings in the market have in them? MSG.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a listed ingredient, which is
So lots of wonderful salad dressings listed in your book, which are
yeah.
amazing. Will you go there? First of all, I would like for you to talk about the MSG because I think it's very important. But before we go there, something that has impacted my thinking is when you were talking about drug addicts and,
Mhm.
they just want to feel normal. There's that part in your book where it talks about the tests that they did, where they took bipolar and schizophrenics, tested their B levels.
B vitamins are very helpful.
So when they were tested, all of them in their study, they did not even register
Mhm.
anywhere in the normal range. And when they plugged in the B vitamins, those symptoms went away. This was so important to me knowing how much food matters. And you can take someone which I've seen this in life, I've
Mhm.
lived long enough to see a lot of things, but you can take two different people that have basically the same experiences, trauma is what I
Mhm.
mean. This one is nutritionally fit. They're eating healthy.
Yeah.
They're somehow managing that trauma.
Yes. Yes.
And this person is not. They are eating very unhealthy. They couldn't handle the trauma in their life and their paths went very different. And my only point is how important food is.
Yeah.
Nutrient. Go.
Well, what trauma does is a shock to the adrenal glands, and it basically kind of wipes out your adrenal glands. And then you have adrenal fatigue. I mean, to me, that's the most likely explanation of what trauma does. And how do we feed our adrenal glands? Well, guess what? You need cholesterol to make all those adrenal hormones. They're all made out of cholesterol. And they all require vitamin A to make these adrenal hormones. And I'm sure they require lots of other things too. You mentioned B vitamins, but vitamin A is kind of my where I start and fixate. Well, what's the best source of vitamin A? Butter and cod liver oil. And those are my two kind of go-to foods. And if you can't take the liquid cod liver oil, take the pills. It's okay. But vitamin A is what Dr. Price found was so high in these traditional diets, 10 times higher than the American diet of his day. And then we also get vitamin D from these foods, from egg yolks and butter and cod liver oil. And
I continuously hear people saying egg whites. Why are we ditching the yolk when it is so
yolks are the most important part. I
thank
add extra yolks to the scrambled eggs. That's the part you want.
thank you.
One thing I want to say is I'm very concerned about people taking vitamin D, and I'm sure you get people coming into your practice. What happens when you take vitamin D all by itself, and people are taking up to 10,000 units, which you could hardly get from food. The body says, oh, here comes vitamin D. I need vitamin A to use that vitamin D. It all depends on vitamin A. And they get depleted of vitamin A. And then they get kidney stones or they get depressed or who knows. But the first thing I would always say to someone is get off the vitamin D. It's not the way you're supposed to be getting your vitamin D. You want to get your vitamin D from food. And the highest source of vitamin D, the best source is cod liver oil, but the second best source is egg yolks, almost up there with cod liver oil. Egg yolks from chickens outside in the sunlight. So, with the combination of butter, which is great for vitamin A, and egg yolks for vitamin D, you're in good shape. And then, of course, the third vitamin was vitamin K, which we also get from butter and egg yolks and from poultry fats and poultry liver. So isn't that good news? You can have all the butter you want. You can have all the egg yolks you want. You can make béarnaise sauce. You can make quiche with egg yolks. You can make all kinds of things with egg yolks, and it tastes so good. And that's the other thing that I do like to emphasize. There's really no renunciation in this diet. You don't have to give up fats. You don't have to give up grains. You don't have to give up butter. You don't have to give up sauces. All these things can be in your diet. The key is that they're made the right way and prepared the right way.
Often dairy is demonized. It's the
Oh,
culprit,
yes. Well,
So
I think pasteurized dairy is a poison. Just read a study which found that people who drink normal dairy, pasteurized dairy, don't live as long and they have weaker bones. And we know that pasteurization process warps and distorts the proteins in milk. And in rats, when they give these processed milk proteins, the rats get stupid. I just would say no to pasteurized milk. And the beauty of raw milk is that it's available everywhere now. It's certainly available in South Carolina. Go right into a store and get it. It's just everywhere. It's in Southern Maryland, where I live, and it's in Florida, it's in California, it's in Idaho, it's everywhere.
people are scared of raw milk.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell them why they don't have to be scared.
Well, it's a very safe food. Raw milk has components in it that kill pathogens. And the thing about raw milk is the longer you have it, the safer it gets because it builds up all these good bacteria and so forth. I just got some statistics back for the last 15 years. There have been more deaths, more illnesses, more hospitalizations from pasteurized milk than raw milk.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's not what we're consuming, it's how.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not the dairy, it's It's the pasteurization. It's not the meat. It's the way they've treated that cow and what they have fed it.
Very important to eat fat with the meat because protein depletes vitamin A. So you want to make sure that meat has fat on it or a sauce or cream sauce or something. The way our grandparents ate.
That's right. And I would like to brush on because as I'm in this phase of life, women going through menopause, the big push is high amounts of protein and heavy lifting. And they're like, you do these two things, you're going to be thin and fit, and you're going to be great.